Houston. It's time to find out what's happening in our Houston area. Don Nelson and Jan Glenn have news and information important to you and your family. Doug Brown's weather will help you plan your day. Now, good morning, Houston.
As mentioned on this program, a sad Valentine's story has turned out with a happy ending. Jenny Sherman from Pearland, Texas, had her heifer calf stolen before the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo on Valentine's Day. TC, the name of the calf, recovered at a lot sale. Two people, young people, had stolen it and tried to sell it, and now we're going to find out just exactly all the details as we meet Doyce Cook, who is a field inspector with the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association, and Jenny Sherman, who by now should be well accustomed to show business and media coverage. I've seen just about everywhere. Good morning.
Front pages of the paper on every station.
You need an agent, I think. You have to get yourself an agent. How are you feeling this morning?
Good.
Good?
Well, we all want to know how TC is feeling. Is he getting all fat again, getting ready for the livestock show?
He's still skinny, and she's real sore.
She's real sore. Why is she sore?
We don't know yet, but they just, they've not been treating her properly because she won't let anybody touch her head or anything. Her hooves are all cut up.
Does she know you personally? I mean, does she know when you're around as opposed to someone else, Jenny?
She can tell my voice and everything.
Now, how long have you had this calf?
Ever since August.
So, I mean, you do have a relationship and a little rapport with that calf. Do you think she stands a good chance of winning out at the livestock show now? If you get her a little bit fatter.
Just if I can get a little bit fatter, I think she'll win.
And now what? After the show, she'll stay with you now? Is that how? It's not going to be sold, right? That calf's staying with you, right?
I don't want her showed.
Look at those eyes. No way. Okay, Doyce, let's talk to you now about how this happened, how you tracked down these two youngsters.
Well, actually, Jan, it was a multi-group, not just myself, but we had other field inspectors involved in this and some of the local sheriff's departments. There was such media coverage, there were so many leads to follow that we could not do it all ourselves. Of course, we had the Harris County Sheriff's Department, the Brazoria County Sheriff's Department, Fort Bend County Sheriff's Department assisting us on the leads and the tips that came in. Actually, what broke the case, we had a tip that TC had actually went to a livestock market in Texas, and we had, by process of elimination, we'd already eliminated most of those auctions. I only left one or two out in kind of central Texas we had not checked. At that time, we called that auction market and asked those people out there, did they have one animal sale? It was a Hereford, and they said that they did have one animal sold. It was a Hereford heifer, and then the address come back to Houston, Texas. And also our rules are that whenever an animal is sold in Texas, that they register the license plate number of that vehicle to those people that bring it in, and the license plate come back to a Houston man. We were able to take that. The auction market was able to tell us that that animal went to Abilene to an order buyer, at which time I called the field inspector that lives in Abilene. He was 6 miles from the heifer at that time. Saturday afternoon, he went out, rode through the pens, was able to pull her up and identify her. At that time, they put her back on full feed, had a veterinarian check her out and do the test that needed to be for her to come in the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. We then made arrangements for two Houston ranchers to go out there and pick that animal up. They left at 2 o'clock Sunday morning, and we're back in here around 8:30 or 9 Sunday evening.
Doyce, I'm absolutely amazed and fascinated at the same time. You would think that one heifer could get lost in the state of Texas as big as it is, but yet you people really know how to track them. Now, what other clues does a modern-day cattle rustler leave behind? You tell us about tire tracks. What are some of the other things you look for?
Well, normally whenever we go to a scene of a theft, we like to see some evidence there. We really like to know that that animal is stolen, but not just out, and just strayed down into another pasture. We like to see, in the case of Jenny's calf here, there was a cut chain, so we knew actually somebody did come in and perpetrate that offense. They cut the chain, brought the heifer out. There were trailer tracks there, so we knew that they loaded that heifer in a trailer. On any cattle theft, we try to determine what kind of vehicle is used in that theft. Now, we can take where the tracks stop, if they back up against a chute, we can take that length and determine if it's a 28-foot stock trailer or a 16-foot stock trailer or even a horse trailer.
Mm-hmm. Fascinating.
Jenny, What do you want to happen to these two kids that did this?
I like them hanging, but they don't do that anymore.
Okay, they don't do that anymore, so what can be done to make sure that these kids don't go out and just do it again?
Oh, Jan, these boys are not going to be the types that go out and do it again. I think they've learned a little bit of a lesson just by the media coverage here.
They must have been so scared
Yes.
the whole time. So nothing will happen to them?
Well, no, they are standing charges. They will be charged at a future date of a third-degree felony, which can stand a maximum penalty of 2 to 10 years. Of course, in the Texas criminal system right now, that don't happen much.
Jenny, do you plan on raising more animals for future rodeos or livestock shows?
I hope I do. My grandpa might give me some more to show.
Just cattle, or would you like to raise something else?
Horses and cattle.
You made a comment earlier, though, about TC. You said, no way he's going to be sold. Once you start raising some of those other little animals, do you think you could ever let them go? Sometimes when you show them, you have to sell them.
Like steers, you have to sell after so many shows. But I would like a steer because you make so much money, and it's just good to have a steer with you.
It's good to have a steer.
You have some pets and then you have some steers.
That's right. Well, let's talk about your organization, the Cattlemen's Association. You are not funded by tax dollars. It's all the memberships. So you are always looking, I guess, for members or just for donations, maybe?
Not actually donations. The Texas Southwestern Cattle Raisers is made up by around 13,000 members. And those people, their membership dollars are the dollars that we operate on. Like you said, we're not tax funded. Not $1 from your taxes goes to our operations. But in turn, though, we do work for every cattleman in Texas that asks for it. So those memberships, we're always soliciting members. We need those members to come in. We have a membership for the cattlemen, and we also have an allied membership for businesses, banks that like to support us. We don't solicit any money as gifts.
You are, we were talking about the last of a dying breed of real cowboys. You, in fact, do some real cowboying, and you put, what, Special Texas Ranger, a part of that, in the field inspecting. I mean, how do you get to be, how do you get your job? That's a fascinating job.
Well, actually, I've been raised on a ranch all my life. Worked on a ranch whenever I first got out of high school. Continued that into, probably 15 years experience on ranches. From there, I went into the Texas Southwestern Cattle Raisers as a market inspector and promoted up to a field inspector.
So there was no way that you wouldn't have gotten into at least some form of this work with the background that you have growing up.
Actually, this position with the cattle raisers is a little bit of both, a little bit of cowboy and a little bit of law enforcement. You don't get burnt out. You are able to go from one to the other, and it's the only thing to have. Yes.
That's great.
Well, thanks for joining us this morning. Jenny, good luck.
Thanks.
All right.
And
Till
thanks for being
TC,
so
good
good with the media.
Yeah.
You've been very cooperative.
We need to break, and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
In the West, stealing horses. A new generation of horse thieves is preying on Western ranches, and the motive is the same now as it was a century ago, profit. Here's ABC's Al Dale.
Tammy Duffer's horse, Patches, was stolen out of this pasture near Dallas last February.
Every time I'd say, Patches, she'd turn around and look at me, you know, and I miss that. I miss it a lot.
She and her boyfriend Kevin later learned that the gentle mare was sold to a slaughterhouse and butchered within hours. The plant Patches was taken to is one of 4 in Texas licensed to slaughter horses for human consumption. They pay up to 70 cents a pound, $700 for a 1,000-pound horse. Most of the meat is shipped overseas, more than 140 million pounds last year. Bought by Europeans and Asians who have included horse meat in their diets for generations.
No one knows how many stolen horses wind up in slaughterhouses, but the price of horse meat has doubled over the past 5 years, making horse rustling a lucrative business.
Warren Wilson is now in jail for stealing 50 horses. He says horses are easy to steal and easy to turn into cash at auctions, no questions asked.
We'd steal them on a Friday night, sell them on Saturday night, and I'd cash a check Monday morning.
These 2 horses had been stolen from Charlie Painter's friends. He rescued them from a slaughterhouse trailer just after they had been sold at auction. Since then, searching auctions has become his passion. Sort of a one-man posse, he haunts sale barns, trying to find stolen horses before they are killed. So far, he says he has recovered 19. Lawman Doyce Cook says most stolen horses are never recovered because sales records are not required and horses are hard to identify.
A man calls and says he has a paint horse missing. I don't have any idea what that horse is, and even if I look right at that horse at a sale barn, you know, I can't take it away from somebody till I know that it's a stolen horse.
So more and more worried horse owners are having their animals branded. The mark helps trace a horse, but does not solve the problem. Rancher Paul Rigg says maybe a taste of the Old West would work.
Yes, sir. We used to hang them in this part of the country.
Those days are gone, but as long as horse meat is in demand, horse rustling is one relic of the Old West that dies hard. Al Dale, ABC News, Forney, Texas.
And that's our report on World News Tonight. I'm Peter Jennings. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.